Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. That's Stephen Howson. Unfortunately, we haven't really got anything to talk about today. Not much has happened today. I don't even know what we're going to do. I think we might have to do like a Brew 2.0 where we just talk about films and you know, our favourite TV shows and stuff, because what else are we going to talk about?
Well, it is Sunday day, which means they're all dropping today. You know that they're all dropping today. Yes. So it's the only thing that gets better today.
It does. Steve,
Landman's already dropped.
Oh, mate, I'm on that when I get home. I didn't see your preview for your channel, so forgive me. Going into this game, what were your thoughts? Did you have much optimism that we were going to get a result? Were you sort of confident, or what did you feel like?
Not really. Just think that this City team, you've got to be objective. Even though they going into it, they only won 1 in 10. You know, we'd only just scraped past a team that I can barely pronounce. So, it wasn't a good spot going into it. Our away record is horrendous. City are supposedly littered with world-class players and the greatest manager that's ever existed in football. So you've got to presume that it was going to be an uphill task for us. You know, and we're not exactly in form. I mean, you can write any United 11 out that you want. There's 2 or 3 players in there that you don't want to pick.
Yeah.
In the 11 that you're picking.
Good point.
So, like, no, I wasn't excited going into it. And what I would say on this as well, let's not forget, I mean, it's a phenomenal result, but it has lifted us to 13th.
Really? Dizzy heights.
Just to sort of like...
How have we beat City at the Etihad and we're 13th in December? Mate, what is going on? This club, man.
So expectations might need to be tempered a wee bit.
All right, yeah, maybe the title race can wait till next season. The big news ahead of kickoff, me and you were chatting about this before kickoff, was Marcus Rashford and Garnacho. In hindsight, I know we don't know the ins and outs. We don't want to speculate and get into all that gossipy nonsense. We can do that another day. A big call from the manager, though, to do that. Unless you want to do it now. It's your forum. Do you want to do it now? Do you want to say anything? You got that look in your eyes, son. I mean, you know, the floor is yours. But a big call by the managers to do that, regardless of what's gone on, because you're dropping 2 players there that probably would have played had certain things not gone on, whatever those certain things may be that you might want to share with us. Not putting you on the spot, I'm just saying, you're the one that smiled, knowingly. And I'm not going to say, you know, anything that goes on in the group chat stays in the group chat, so I'm not referencing that. I'm just saying... I'm just saying.
No. I think we'll all know by this time tomorrow.
Okay, that's very diplomatic of you, which is fair enough. But a big call.
I think it'll come out.
Yeah, right.
I actually know a venue as well now.
Right. Okay. There's a few little Easter eggs there for people.
Yeah, I think we'll all know by this time tomorrow. I don't think the lid stays on this one.
No.
I don't think it's what people have been speculating and waffling shite about all week. I don't think it's that. Well, it's not that. But it's not a good look for the players involved. And I think you're right. It was a ballsy call from the manager, and his position's only strengthened. Whatever he said in a press conference, I've said this so long, you can't really listen to what managers say in press conferences because they're playing a game.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's to protect a sellable asset, whether that's to send a message to a player positively or negatively. Like Chael Sonnen says this best about you owe nothing, including the truth, in press conferences, and they're there for whatever agenda you want to stick them out in. It's your press conference, and I always sort of treated press conferences that way, is that you might get the truth, you might, but you're not owed it.
Yeah.
And you can't take everything that you get told at a press conference by whoever's hosting the press conference as if that is the truth. You know, it might be a version of the truth, it might not be the truth. So I think there's he's done a decent job, I think, of talking about the club standards and things like that, and I think that's it's on the line of the reasoning behind people's omissions from the squad. But I think he's so justified with the result now. I think that if we roll it back a little bit and just say, we've gone to the Emirates and the Etihad, supposedly the best 2 teams in the country last season.
Yeah.
We've only conceded from corners. We've basically shared the possession with them, and we've looked all right at times, like pretty good at times. We've played football at times. We look way more defensively solid. We look way more comfortable in possession, and we've had a go, greater or lesser degree. I don't think we had quite as much of a go against Arsenal, but we've had a go. And obviously, we've come away winning against City, and I don't give a fuck what form they're in. That's a big result, that. Especially when United haven't like won a decent away game at a high-rated opposition for like, what, 3 years or something
yeah, I
like
think
that?
you're right, 2021, I think. Didn't happen under Ten Hag. Didn't win against the top 6 away from home under Ten Hag. So, that's
So don't tell me to pipe down and City are shit, because I'm not having that. Like, they are apparently the 4-time straight winners of the Premier League. I saw a flag saying. So that may or may not stay the case once these charges land. But I'm not accepting anything other than that's a great result. And it was a great team performance, and you could see the amount of running in them, which I think was led by Amad Diallo, who is just the shining light of this season for me, no matter what happens this season.
Yeah, I mean, Amad Diallo, we'll get to him in a minute. I wanted to ask you about a couple of other players as well, because there was, like you said, great team performance. The standouts for me, obviously, Amad Diallo. I thought Ugarte did very well. And Mazraoui is another one who just continues to impress me. Other than Diallo, who was the one that stood out for you, or is it just too many to mention?
I don't think it was necessarily too many to mention. I thought it was solid and unspectacular for the vast majority of the team. I don't know. Martinez, maybe. I think Ugarte, he turns up in these sort of games. He was always going to be the first name on the team sheet. Thought he looked after the ball really well. I thought Martinez get an assist for the last one. I thought there was. It was a real solid performance. It looks like United aren't in a rush with the ball, and you can argue that we probably knock it around defence a little bit, but so did City in their first evolution under Pep. So did Liverpool in their first evolution under Jurgen Klopp. You just have to get used to having the ball a little bit. I don't care who's got it, because as long as we've got it, they ain't got it. Yeah. So I don't mind where you hold the ball, especially like what we are half a dozen games into Ruben Amorim's reign. How about fucking calm down?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm really happy with how we played off the back foot today, and I won't pretend we didn't, but we didn't like low block and try and Jose Mourinho like lock it up. Like we played off the back foot, but we pressed them. Like we was trying to set traps for them to fall into, and then we would really press hard. Like we was pressing hard. Like we weren't being passive and just trying to defend the box. We were trying to get at them and put pressure on them, like in our half with the ball. And then you could see that there was lines on the pitch where we were pressed too. And once the ball went behind that, we kind of just sort of held our shape and our position. It was a real disciplined team performance. But I liked that. I thought every single player can come off that pitch and say, I had a hand in how that result went down today. And that's all you want from your team, is that everyone comes off and can go, yeah, I'm having a bit of that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with that. There's a lot of solid performances, a lot of decent performances there. And I think you're right about Ugarte. The stats back up what you're saying about him, looking after the ball. I think 95% pass accuracy today. He just barely ever gave it away. And obviously he was getting himself about everywhere. Just before we wrap up then, Amad Diallo, I mean, you have mentioned him. We're going to mention him again. How good is this kid? Is he someone you can look at and you go, do you know what? If United get things right in other areas, then he's a player that can become that player that helps you win titles in Champions Leagues. Is he that good? Do you think there is a sort of a player there who we can turn to? Because at the minute, I'm struggling to find anything negative to say about him. He works hard. He's got amazing talent. He always wants the ball. He's creating and scoring. I mean, he's just mint.
He's turning up in big games, Jay. Like, he did it last year with that Liverpool game. He's done it this year. He's turning up in big games. He plays like he gives a fuck. He's got a level of quality about him. You give him the ball, he doesn't lose it. He doesn't have the ball, he wins it back. He's got really top level maturity and decision making. He seems to just relish getting involved in duels and winning them. He's a fucking brilliant footballer, and whether he's played on the right as like that right wing back, or as we saw again tonight, he's more in that sort of half space 10 kind of role. He's a player that you want in your team, and he should lock that position down. Is he a player that we can win the Champions League with? It's too early to say. We're literally looking at him in his Premier League rookie season, really, because he's just been a bit part player until then. But all I can say to you is I absolutely adore what I see from him right now, and it's the quality and the decision making that excites me the most about him. You can get young players that have got a dribble, and you can get young players that they might score a bit of a worldie, but the level of consistency is separating Amad Diallo from those players. I think, he turns up, and what's his worst performance that you've seen him have?
Do you know what? Ironically, right, and this sounds weird, but bear with me. His worst performance was probably against Brighton, where he'd been through a tragedy as well. Let's not forget that the night before, I think he'd lost a family member, and he still scored. Like, he didn't have a great game, but he scored a goal, which is like, it's not like we were absolutely shitting goals this season in the Premier League. And, he was obviously, effective. Well, that was probably performance-wise wasn't great, but again, he was still effective. And that's the best I can do for you.
Yeah.
to try and
I
think
think
of a bad performance. And even that wasn't exactly bad because he scored.
him and Mazraoui have just come in and delivered consistency. And I got so much time for that, because I would rather that than players that can put in a 10 but might put in a 4.
Yeah.
Like, that does no one any good. I'd rather have the 7s that is no less than a 7, and he might be an 8. Like, but I think Diallo's, he's creeping into 8s and 9s at the moment as well. I mean, like, he wins the penalty. And I said this on my own review that I've just done a second ago. And I'm going to do a late night live at 9 if any of you fucking weirdos want to come and join me and just laugh at Pep's head falling off.
Yeah. We'll be there for that.
I think other players in that position, when he's pounced on that misplaced pass, when he gets into the box, I think other players snatch at the shot.
Yeah.
And they try and shoot from that angle. It probably goes over or gets blocked or whatever. And I think his decision making there to be like, I know he's fucking haring down at me here. I'm going to take the contact and probably the penalty. I think his decision making in that moment to be like, nah, fuck it. Let me just get fouled. And then obviously what he does for the winner. I mean, in what fantasy have you ever scored a goal like that?
I don't even dream about that, let alone actually do it. It's like the way when I saw it sort of turned and then the finish, I thought time seemed to stand still. I was like, do you know what I mean? It felt like that Liverpool game again, because it wasn't a very hard hit shot. It was just placed, and it was like it seemed like to take an eternity for the net to ripple, because I was half expecting it to come off the post or something. But it just
there was two players on the line.
Yeah.
I don't know how they both missed it. No, he's not smashed it, has he? He's just rolled it in.
It was so slow the way he rolled it in, but it was accurate. That's what it needed to be, because had he smashed it, they probably would have hit one of them. So again, like you say, that decision making, that composure in such a high pressure moment, and he's not phased, just like he wasn't in the last minute against Liverpool. And if you go back to the Liverpool game, he wasn't even playing that much for United. Like, the pressure and you could have been like, oh, so keen to do something. He's snatching at stuff. Today, it could have been like, oh my God, this could be the winner in the derby. But he's not. He's just like, knows what to do, proper chill. And then you look at, I know City are going through it, but look at the amount of money they've spent on players, and they're bringing them on and trying to create something. Nothing's happening for him. And you've got this kid who's, like you're saying, I almost forget it, is in his proper rookie season in the Premier League. And he's just absolutely dominating the game and coming up with the 2 match-winning moments. I mean, yeah, we'll no doubt we'll talk about him extensively over the next decade. But yeah, it's great to see.
Hey, before we go
on.
I think we have to mention Kyle Walker, the absolute.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that. I forgot about that. Come on, man.
What was he doing? What was he doing?
Why did he? Right, I get it. Right, when players go head to head and one of them will go down. Right, I've seen Mark Hughes do that, and he's one of the hardest players I've ever seen. But what Kyle Walker did was they were stood there, and then sort of 5 seconds in, Kyle Walker just like let his legs go from under him and just plummeted like he'd been took out by a sniper. It's like, what are you doing?
He kind of initiated the little contact there was as well.
Yeah, and it's
Højlund's gone up to it and stopped, and then he's kind of got them to go together. He's probably just gone, oh shit, that looks like you've nutted him. He might go down. I better go down first. That's what it looks like.
I just think
he looked like a dick. Absolute dick.
He did. Keno was laying into him. We were laying into him. You've no doubt been laying into him. And it's even more cringe when you think Kyle Walker has this bit of reputation of someone who can look after himself. He's quite, strong player. No. If you're going down like that, you've absolutely lost any sort of pride that you may have had. I mean, I know he's not exactly everyone's favourite player, Kyle Walker, but you can at least go, okay, he's a good player. But when you do things like that, I don't even want to give him that credit. I think he's just come across like a complete knobhead. Seriously. Not good. Not good for him, but good for us. Just another reason to laugh at City. Let's all laugh at him. Steve, always a pleasure, never a chore. We'll see you. I'll check out you live at 9 when I'm no doubt you'll be doing a fair, balanced, analytical view of Pep Guardiola and how sad it is for the world of football that he's having a meltdown and Manchester City
we're just there to look after the football. We're not going to cast aspersions. We're not going to throw out accusations. We might be drinking rum, but we'll see how it goes.
And I know from experience that when you drink rum and you go on camera, nothing but positive things happen. So I'll be watching it with my popcorn.
There's never been a negative.
No, I can't think of any. Steve, good chatting to you. Go and check out Stephen Howson TV so you can find his review, and also you can check out his chat later on at 9 if you're not watching this before then. That's been Steve. I've been Jay. This has been a review. Manchester United beating Manchester City at the Etihad. Thanks, Amad Diallo. What else do you expect? Thanks for watching.